you can't hear us, let us know in the chat. So my name's Arafili Davis, and I'm the writer and producer and occasional sound recordist on Seeing. And I'll just go around and get everyone to introduce themselves. I'll start from next to me.
G'day, I'm Andrew. I was working on sound, and yeah, love working on this project.
Cool. Okay. Hi, I'm Shanae. I played Michelle, the secret cop who's got a hidden past.
I'm Daniel. I'm the cinematographer and
Editor.
Oh,
and
yes.
trailer maker.
Yes.
True.
As in film trailer
And
maker.
gift maker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I am Patrick Smart. Hello. I was the director, and I helped out with a few other things like editing and I don't know, every other part of the process, I suppose.
Occasionally fetch a coffee.
No, that too. That helps.
I'm Miller, and I played Izzy in the short film. Very exciting. Yeah, and I loved it. It was so fun. Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight, and to everyone who's hanging on for the Q&A. So if you've got any questions about this film or making films in general, or anything that you would like to ask, please feel free, put it in the chat, and hopefully we'll see it and we'll be able to answer the questions. So just a little bit of background around Seeing. So the actual script came about because of a Dubbo Filmmakers Workshop, where I had the opportunity to work with a professional screenwriter, Holly Lyons, to develop the script. So that was a great opportunity. And I also worked with another fellow Dubbo Filmmakers member, Helen Murphy, who was able to give me some feedback so I can kind of flesh out the script. And of course, we had a bit of a rehearsal process. And as we rehearsed the film, we also made some changes to the script as we went along, because you know, when actors start speaking words, when you've got the director along, you know, everybody's able to put some input into the process, so hopefully it makes the whole thing better. Okay, so we'll go to, so one of the questions was, how long did it take to, and this was by so Lodzi asked, how long did it take to shoot the film? Oh. So Daniel and Pat, do you remember how long it actually took? Because we had a few part days.
Yeah, I remember we shot 95% of it over 2 days, I believe. 2 days, which was about six hours each of filming. And then the occasional B-roll and audio that we needed to pick up afterwards. We did that in throughout the editing process as we realised we needed it, which was for a few weeks after that, I believe. So I guess after we finished filming to when it was, from when we started finished to when it was finished was about 2 months, 3 months maybe.
Including editing and stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds about
So
right.
the actual shooting itself, we probably
Didn't take
spent about, I don't know, maybe
A few days.
15, 16 hours total in actual shooting. Which is interesting, like you would think, why would it take you 16 hours to shoot like a, you know, what's a 6.5, 7 minute film? But, you know, we were using one camera. Daniel was our cinematographer. And we're actually using this camera here today too for this live stream.
For the close-up camera, which you haven't seen yet, but...
So, yeah, and just a related question was, which was the longest scene to film? Now, I've got my thoughts, but I'll add, this is technically not actually filming. This is waiting, because our cinematographer, Daniel, had awesome camera and also wants to take the awesomest shots. So probably not actually filming, but we had to wait at the where the Izzy goes to the vacuum cleaner store, and she has her confrontation with Roger. Daniel wanted to wait till the light was just right. So when you're making a film, most of the time is waiting for stuff, setting stuff up and everything. And I guess that was the actual shooting didn't take long, but just the waiting for the light to get right, and it was worth it because the scene looks really good. But other thoughts about maybe something that had a lot of takes.
And I think it was with that one we misjudged. I think it was something to do with daylight savings as
Yes.
well. So
Yes.
we thought the sun was going to go down at like 6. Like no.
Something
something
but it was
early.
later.
And then we kind of got closer to it, and then we realised, oh, it's not going to go down for another like hour. That's great. Like so
That's not the cinematographer's fault.
Yeah.
But you feel free
Yeah,
to
really,
blame.
That was the producer's fault.
I think also when we were filming the first walking scene with us two, when obviously when you push me up against the wall, I think that took a lot of coordinating. Like we did tend to do a lot of the coordinating in rehearsals prior, but then when you get on location, things sort of change. You get a layout of the land, and you're like, okay, radio, let's maneuver this a different way. Let's give it a go this way, see how it looks, and then we went from there, which was that was a lot of fun to film.
Yeah,
that scene.
and then
That
to
was
take
the
into
best.
consideration like the background noise and things like
Yes.
that. We've had a lot of people walk past and like look directly in
Yes.
the camera
Yeah.
and like cut,
We
cut
had
again. Like
we had
so,
so
and, like,
many people staring.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, we'd be like just ready, waiting for action to be called, and then we just have this like group of kids come up like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, oh well,
Maybe,
you know, like this is what we are doing. But
and like loud cars and things like that come past that always
Yeah.
interfere with the sound and things like that we have to always take into consideration as well, which was really difficult because a lot of it was filmed on the main street or near a street as well, so it always kind of took away from or added to the time to film.
It didn't help that that was the first thing that we filmed as well.
So
So there was a lot of
there was
people
a lot
that
of,
were using sound equipment for the first time and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And,
Yeah.
you know, you guys were moving around a lot as well,
Yeah,
but
we had to
obviously
move around
Dan
a
and everyone
lot.
else was, so it was you know,
Yeah.
a bit tricky, but yeah.
no, that was good
100%.
fun. That was such good fun.
And so, okay, we have a question here about the casting process. So we actually had auditions, and Pat and I ran the auditions. So our cast all came from those auditions. So we hadn't pre-cast anyone, had we?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
And it's funny because Miller's awesome as Izzy, and I love the like combination of vulnerability and like just pure determination that she has in the role. Mill wasn't the first choice, but so what happened was we had a wonderful actress from out of town who was cast, but she lived hours away, and it just didn't work out. And I actually gave Miller a bit of a heads up earlier on, saying, look, you were great. I've cast this person. We've cast this person, but like, just watch this space as well. And with Shanae, so the character that Shanae played was actually Mitchell and written for a male. But Pat and I were so impressed with Shanae's audition that we decided to rewrite. I rewrote the role for a female. Yeah.
And I remember at that stage as well, we kind of had very suitable people for each of the roles so far, and then you were near the end of the day, and we just kind of figured we were really good and we need to find you a spot, so we'll just rewrite this character.
Yeah.
It was already a possibility to begin with, but no.
Yeah, and
Thank
we were spoilt for choice
definitely.
in a lot of situations. So we had a lot of amazing actors audition, and I find it so hard having to tell people that they're not successful, because I don't want them to think that means that they're not any good. It just was, just wasn't a fit at that time, I suppose. But that's tough, like having to tell people no, and art and creativity seems to be rejection most of the time.
Definitely. I think it's all part of the process too. Like auditions are, I love auditions just because I don't know, I'm strange like that. But, I just love auditions because you get the thrill of it. You get to experience what it's like to, be a part of that role, and you learn as you go. It's always like, I mean, I suppose life as a whole is a learning experience, but this is like a creative learning experience, and you get to
and
you get to learn from
auditions you do a lot of throughout life, especially if you want to be in this sort of industry. You have to do a lot of auditions. So, like, rejection is always going to be a part of it, no matter how
100%.
amazing you are. Like, it's always going to be a part of it, which is always a good learning experience.
So we have a question here from Libby Hicks. Mills, how does it feel to have such fame after this short film?
I wouldn't say fame. I feel like it's more of just
notoriety.
Yeah, like an exposure as well. Like, I feel it's more the experience that I gained from it is better type of, like, I feel like, and like I gained like so many friends from it. Like, we were all so close. Also close while filming, so it really helped to know a lot more people in the creative industry as well. And like, yeah, it's really exciting that the short film has been nominated and has won like so many awards, and in different places as well, like New York and Prague. Like,
I know, it's crazy.
It's really amazing. It feels, it makes me speechless every time I try to think of it.
So that's another question Libby asked about how do people feel about the nominations and so on, the selection.
So excited.
Yeah.
when you told us, Arafili, that we'd won, I was like,
oh
are you serious? This is so exciting! Yay!
Yeah.
Like, wow, I was shocked. Like, it was really exciting. Like, to think we're all the way from this little, well, not really little, but country town in New South Wales, Dubbo, and like we've made it to New York. Like, wow, and like Prague and everywhere. It's just, it's insane, and it goes to show that we can make an impact wherever you are. You can make an impact. So.
So have you been keeping track? Because I haven't seen you on social media, Andrew, but have you been keeping track of what the film's been doing and stuff?
I try and keep track. I've got my own stuff going on. But
of course, awesome, So I'm glad you could come along, guys. So there's been some conversations about what flavour coffee Izzy's getting.
It's water.
Jeremy Lodding suggested
it's very watered down.
Vampy empty cappuccino. Empty cappuccino, and Lodsy has selected small actor latte. There's questions about a sequel, and I know that's what you guys have been asking.
Yes, we are so down for a sequel or a prequel. Like,
keep spamming it.
Make it happen, guys. Make it happen.
So I guess really in terms of, I actually think that there's potential for Scene to be a feature film, and a feature film is a big thing. Like just writing it, let alone actually producing it. So I guess I am kind of having a look to see whether that's something that's doable. I'm a member of Dubbo Filmmakers, which I mentioned before, as is... Oh, you're a member of Dubbo Filmmakers? You're a member of Dubbo Filmmakers. And, one of our objectives is to create a local screen industry, because Dubbo has so much to offer in terms of weather, locations. It's we've got connection to fast internet. We're not that far from Sydney. It's low cost to do things. So we actually think that it's potentially a great place to make films and TV, whether it's locally or for other people coming in as well. So seeing twice, Lodsy suggested.
Oh God.
And so questions. Other people's short film projects. Anybody got stuff on the horizon?
Don't be all so quick to...
No, not a short film. But a couple of us are involved with a web series.
To the end of the earth.
That have been to the end of the earth. It's kind of been on hold at the moment because of COVID and everything like that. We got the second episode done and dusted just before everything happened, and so we're kind of waiting to hear back for that one, but that one hopefully will be done soon. I'm one of the actors in it, Shanae and Erafili,
both
directors
Yeah,
in
I'm
it.
directing the next episode.
Yeah, directing the next episode, and Shanae directed the second episode, wasn't it? Yeah.
And
so,
you're involved in
Yeah, I'm
the
involved.
Oh, yes,
I'm
yeah.
shadowing the producers, so
That's right.
yeah, so I'll be shadowing the producers, so yeah, hopefully we'll be getting back into it very soon.
very soon,
Yeah.
Very
hopefully.
exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes. So
So
look out for that one.
And Pat, where are you at now? You'll be making some projects.
It's a bit interesting at the moment. I'm at AFTRS, Australian Film, Television and Radio School. Not really there at the moment, obviously.
He's just amazing CGI right now.
The hologram.
Yeah.
The next semester, it's all going back and whatnot. So that's all well and good, and there's no amazing projects except at the end, after the whole course, I'll have a main piece to work on, but it's mostly just assessments and stuff like that. But I'll be very excited to bring back what I've learned back here and see what we can do.
Awesome.
Seeing feature film, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
For sure.
And Daniel, have you got any stuff on the boil?
No, not really.
Yeah.
A few irons in the fire regarding cinematography work, but nothing finalised yet.
Yeah. So I guess for me, one of the upcoming projects is with Studio 138, which is where we're at today. And so we're in the process of putting together a music video for a cover of House of the Rising Sun, which is recorded by my husband and co-manager of Studio 138, Michael Davis, or Mick Davis. And hopefully Miller will be in the music video. And I potentially have a low-budget horror film on the horizon, which is
interesting.
well, this
Breaking
one's
news.
interesting. It's potentially it's being funded by someone in America actually,
Cool.
but they want to make it here. So
Yeah, wow.
Nice.
so that we'll see whether that one comes through, because the other thing about the film business is not just like constant rejection, but also things just get stuck and don't get made. And I've also written a 2-person romantic comedy, which is I'm hoping to produce this year. So this year, Dubbo filmmakers have a locally made short film festival each year, and that looks like it's still going to go ahead this year. So we're working to confirm a venue. So, I hope to have at least a couple of projects, maybe the music video and this romantic comedy. I keep writing and shooting romantic comedies, but it's funny, I don't really watch romantic comedies. The films I watch are more like seeing, like not...
Maybe you live your life as a romantic comedy.
Yeah, or living with my wonderful husband who's sitting over there, like, no. No, I'm only joking, Mick. It's been 20-something years of absolute joy.
And dad jokes. And dad jokes.
And what?
Dad jokes.
And dad jokes, that's right. So I'll just take a moment also to mention about the organising of this stream, because it's something new and it's worked pretty good. So it's probably something that we look forward to doing again, and certainly there'll be a lot more of this sort of stuff happening at Studio 138. So if you want to see more stuff, make sure you like the Studio 138 page. Just want to thank Daniel for helping set this up, and we're using a lot of his equipment and used a lot of his knowledge in terms of setting this up. And behind the camera is my son, Markello Davis. And it's great to be able to make your own crew. So that's what I did, because I thought it would be easier than hiring people for me. But yeah, thank you. And Mick helped out as well to make things happen here today. So I'd like to thank that. Thank everybody. Yeah, nice work, kids. And I will also mention, shameless plugs here since I'm not playing, if you go to seeingshortfilm.com, that's seeingshortfilm.com, we've set up a shop. Making a short film, even if it's no budget, is actually quite expensive, and entering film festivals and so forth, and obviously looking to make more short films. So we've set up a shop, and we're selling poster t-shirts, seeing t-shirts, and tote bags, poster tote bags as well. So if you're interested in supporting the film and you want some merchandise, go check it out. So
have my face on your shirt. Who wouldn't want it?
Who wouldn't want that? Yeah. Okay. Some tips for people wanting to write scripts for film. Actually, for anybody wanting to do anything for film, in Dubbo Filmmakers is a great place to start because you can connect with people, have opportunities to do things and learn. In terms of writing scripts, what I can suggest is probably start out with something short and small, and if you can, get people to read it out for you. So get people who are actors to read it out for you. And then you can hear if the dialogue sounds right, and I think that even if it's, just a little exchange, a conversation or whatever, a page, that's a great place to start before taking on something big. And of course, you can take courses, AFTRs have short courses you can do around script writing. Dubbo Filmmakers often have funded courses. If you go to something like Udemy, I don't know if you've heard of Udemy, you can actually find courses, and often they're discounted, to teach you screenwriting, so the whole process. So really, I would say if you are interested in screenwriting and you've got an idea for a story, don't get too caught up in the technicalities. Have a go, get someone to read it with you, make changes or whatever, and yeah, you got to start. Like, the difference between filmmakers and those who, talk about filmmaking is that the filmmakers actually did something. Don't wait for something to be perfect, I think, is probably my advice, or you'll never do it.
Because a lot of the time as well, I mean, I'm not a script writer, but a lot of the time as well, if you do get people to read it out and things like that, you'll also, when you're seeing it, you'll be able to see, maybe this would look good here instead of this, and you're able to edit it in your head. And so you're able to go home and edit it that way. So yeah, you're able to kind of expand on it. Even if it's a little paragraph, you're able to expand on it when you see it being performed and acted out.
Well, yeah,
because that's how I see it. Yeah,
even with seeing, we did that with a couple of our scenes, because we're like, okay, so the words obviously still flowed, but we were like, okay, well, let's try it this way and give it a go this way.
Move these
it's
two
always
lines here and move that
it's
bit
just
there.
a learning process, and
100%.
you just got to go for it.
Exactly. And don't forget too, when you're writing something, don't forget that obviously you don't just have the words, but you've also got what you're looking at as well. So there's the little thing they say, show, don't tell. I mean, I think you've got to tell to a certain amount. It's audio visual, so think that you're telling the story two ways, not just one way. So Lod Z, you're welcome. Said thank you for the advice. You are so welcome. So Libby Hicks wants to know, where do you all see yourselves in 5 years? I'm assuming film-wise.
A big question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So who wants to go first? I hope to have made my first feature film by then. I don't know if it's going to be seeing or whatever, but I would hope to have made and completed my first feature film within 5 years.
Cool. I'll go next. I'm at the start of my journey, so in 5 years' time, I'm still learning. So.
Would you? So you're looking at producing the web series?
Yeah, I'm looking at producing with the web series, and I'm also looking at producing my own works as well. So.
Yep. So you're writing stuff?
Yeah, I'm writing stuff at
awesome.
home, and so I've got a few stories on the run at the moment. So just having fun with it. And I think that's the main thing, is just to have fun with it. And that's it. That's about it.
Oh, okay, right. Okay. 5 years time. God. Ooh, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. No. I'd love to continue acting throughout my whole entire life. So I think that's been a big, even just like, I'd love to be in Hollywood or something like that. But I also love helping the community out and like doing community projects and getting involved in the community. Hopefully I'll be somewhere along the beach, which would be great. But, no, I just love acting, and I'm just gonna see what happens and just continue doing it. I've been doing it since I was little, so I just want to continue doing that.
So mainly acting?
Definitely mainly acting. I want to branch into a little bit of script writing, more the writing process as well, which I do enjoy. And I mean, I really enjoyed directing my episode for To the End of the Earth.
You were a good director too.
Oh, thanks. Like, that was such an exciting experience, and it was great because I had the guidance of everybody around me and like Peter and everything like that. And I felt like I learned so much from that, and it's good to gain a different perspective too, because I'm so used to seeing it from the actor's perspective of what a director's trying to say.
Yeah.
But then to be in the other shoes and giving that direction, you're like, okay, so now I need to word this differently so that they understand it. Whereas, so I want to explore all my options. I feel like that's a good way to do it.
I have no idea.
That's a big one.
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Literally.
Except working. I just go day by day and see what comes.
I'll drag you along with my projects too.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
I also have literally no idea, unfortunately.
Course?
My course is 3 years, so I've just started that this year. So.
And what's the actual course, did you say?
It's a Bachelor of Arts Screen Production. Yeah. And basically they teach us everything we need to know to get a job in the film industry at the end. So instead of teaching us primarily about cinematography or directing or whatever, they give us all the skills we need, because basically that's how the industry is transforming now. It's kind of becoming a more... there's more of a need for a jack of all trades kind of people, where they have an understanding of cinematography and sound design. So I'm very interested in directing and whatnot, but I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years' time I have found myself working as a cinematographer primarily or whatever. It could go either way. I love it all, so who knows.
I'm very similar to Shanae. Like, I really want to stay on the track of acting, hopefully branching into more screen stuff, but I also really like doing stage acting as well, like musical theatre and things like that. I really, really enjoy, so either one. I'm not picky. But yeah, not setting in stone like any definite moves or anything like that. If it's still in Dubbo, then I'm definitely not complaining, because the opportunities here are still so amazing. Example A, I just hope that by 5 years I've had a lot more experience under my belt. Yeah,
great. And I also want to just mention just a thank you to all the other people that have been involved in the film. Yeah. I mean, you would have seen the credits, so for a short film there were a lot of people involved. And if you go to IMDb and look it up, and you'll see all the people that were involved in the making of this film. And I also just want to mention some of the businesses that supported us. It was a, low budget, no budget short film, and Domino's Pizza in North Dubbo on Erskine Street, so they donated pizza for our for catering, which was fantastic.
It's delicious.
Yes, it was delicious.
Awesome.
The milestone, so the scene where the little girl is in the cellar, that was courtesy of downstairs of the Milestone Hotel, so thank you for that. Also out the front of the Exchange Clock Tower, which is where the final scene was shot, so thank you to them for allowing us to shoot there. And the cafe, some of you may have recognised as Local Cafe, so it was great to have them let us lend their lovely cafe for a couple of hours one afternoon, so that we could shoot that, and all the extras that were there as well. You know, that kind of made it look like a cafe where things were actually happening. So all those people, you know, make the film possible, I suppose.
Filmmaking is definitely a team effort, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So just some final words from everybody.
Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Yeah, it means a lot to have so much support, and hopefully it'll be public soon, in a couple of months, fingers crossed. But having something like this is really cool. Like, never done this before, and I don't know if any of you have either. And the constant support, like with just sharing, like all the promotional things, and like with all the awards and things like that. Like, it means a lot to just have however many people share the posts on Facebook and things like that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been
from
amazing.
Yeah,
round of applause for you guys.
I think it's been, this whole experience has been amazing and awesome from start to finish, and I think we've all, like, I mean, we've all gained some awesome new friends out of it too, which is excellent. Yeah. But I think we've also gained so much more experience, and yeah, we've just learnt so much from it, which is great, and that's what this whole process is all about. It's all about learning. It's about growing and, you know, having fun with it as well, and just enjoying it. So yeah, thank you everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
And just one more mention, two people I did forget to thank with regards to the film were my husband and my son. So very supportive of the crazy things that I do, and often fetching and carrying or holding boom poles or whatever in order to make, or in front of the camera or behind the camera or something to make things happen. So I forgot to mention my family, and you know, I couldn't do it without a supportive family as well. Yeah. All right, so I suppose that's it. So thank you all for joining us. I guess if we've got any other exciting projects going on,
We'll keep you
so keep looking at seeingshortfilm.com. Follow Seeing Short Film on Facebook as well as Studio 138. We'll keep you posted with what's going on.
And a sequel too.
Yes! Get on that.